Schüler, hier spricht Frau Miller und heute sprechen wir über Genus. Genus is the German word for gender. And I know while we don't really talk too much about gender and grammar in English, it does have an important role in German. So here we go. German gender, Genus. So the most important thing we're going to be talking about are definite articles. Definite articles is the word basically for the in English. And in German, we have three ways to say that. We have der, die, and das. We've sort of seen that already with some of our words. We have der Mann, die Frau, but das Mädchen, right? They all mean the. And you might be thinking, why do we need three different ways to say the? Well, the article shows two things. One, the function of the noun, the job of the noun in the sentence. And the second thing it tells us is the gender. Why is that important? Well, part of it's cultural and part of it's just the Germans have more flexibility with their word order. English is very structure-oriented. The noun, the subject has to come first, the object has to come after that. And in German, they can switch things around a little bit more, but the definite articles tell the listener or the reader exactly what's going on in the sentence. Okay, so here we go. What are the definite articles for each gender? Well, some of our vocabulary words are der Onkel, der Vater, der Bruder. Der is the masculine definite article. We have words like die Mutter, die Schwester, die Tante, and die is the feminine definite article. And we have a few neuter nouns in this unit. We have das Kind, and then some of our animals are also das, okay? And anyway, das is the neuter gender definite article. The other thing to point out is there also is die for all plural nouns. So if I have two sisters, I would say die Schwester, it stays die. But if I have two brothers, it would be die Brüder, okay? The umlaut over the U also signifies that it's the plural and not anything else. So anyway, die is the plural definite article, okay? So the next question I hear a lot is, how do I know which article goes with which noun, okay? So the bad news is there really are no set rules to know whether a noun is masculine, feminine, or neuter. It's more part of just kind of associating one with the noun. But there are some tricks that you can use to sort of help you out when you're in the learning process, okay? Any noun that relates to a person or people, okay, they're generally doesn't mean all the time, generally associated with a person. So for instance, der Mechaniker. Mechaniker is the word for a mechanic. If it's a male mechanic, I say der Mechaniker. If it's a female mechanic, I say die Mechanikerin. Okay, again, words associated with a person generally go with the person that they are, okay? There are some exceptions. So another trick is most nouns that end in er, okay, or an I are masculine, okay? In this unit, we're going to stick to people first, and then we're going to kind of move away from them. And as we move away, we're going to have some nouns that just end in I or er, and those tend to be masculine nouns. Another trick is most nouns that end in e or the word or the word height are also feminine nouns. There are, again, some exceptions, especially with the E, but generally speaking, like the word Ecke, it's die Ecke. Ich wohne die Ecke. Ecke is the word for corner. How is that feminine? Doesn't make any sense. But it ends with an E. Give it a D. That's my little rhyme to help it out. Okay? Also, words that end in an O or the word or the letters chen are neuter nouns, okay? The example is das Mädchen, and we talked about how maidens, like fair maidens back in the medieval times, are women. And if you're a cute and adorable Mädchen, the word chen makes you cute and adorable, and that's why it's a neuter noun, okay? There also, sometimes you can kind of organize gender by categories in your brain to help make things make sense. So I have some categories for you. For instance, all seasons are masculine. Weather also tends to be masculine in nature. We have der Sturm, right? Time tends to be a feminine category, and technology tends to be a neuter category. So maybe you want to add that in your notes here. Seasons and weather tend to be masculine. Time tends to be a feminine, and then technology tends to be a neuter noun. And I can make that a little smaller too if I want to. Kind of matches up a little better there. Okay, so anyway, those are the notes on the gender. Now we're going to put those into practice, okay? So the first exercise, it says versuch mal, and that means give it a try. Are the following words a der word, a die word, or a das word? So you're going to take guesses, and it's okay to be wrong. Remember, failure is part of the process. You're going to use the strategies that we've sort of been introduced to, but sometimes there is no strategy, and you just have to kind of find a way to remember it. Okay, so I gave you Nummer 1. It's Ecke, and that would be die Ecke. We talked about how if words end in E, you give it a D. So using that strategy, what do you think Minute would be? Yep, you got it. It's a D as well, right? Because it ends with a D, it ends with an E, give it a D. Additionally, a minute has to do with time. It's also a feminine noun. Okay, I want you to take a guess, 3, 4, all the way to 14. Another strategy is, if you don't know the gender, you can look it up on leo.org. All right, do your best. Come back and check your answers. Hallo, und jetzt korrigieren wir die Antworten. Okay, so your job was to put a der, die, or das in front of every noun. We had die Minute, and I came up with der Herr. Herr means gentleman, and that relates to a person. So it's going to be the gender masculine noun, masculine definite article. Die Tante, again, Tante means aunt. It's related to a person. Das Mädchen, even though Mädchen means girl, the fact that it ends in chen is I'll say more important, is going to trump the femininity of being a girl. So it's das Mädchen. Number 6 is der Tag. There is another category. Days and months are always masculine. So it's der Montag, der Dienstag, and also der Monat. The word for month is a masculine noun, along with all of the months of the year. Okay. Die Großmutter, relating to a female. So we're going to use the feminine definite article. Das Handy. Handy is the German word for a cell phone, and that's considered technology. It goes into the category technology, and that's a neuter noun. Telephone, using that same sort of category, das Telefon. It's technology. Now, Freundin, that relates to a person. Is it a female friend or a male friend? Female friend. So guess what? You're going to choose die Freundin. Okay? Opa. What does Opa mean? Grandpa. You're going to use the masculine definite article. Pulli. Now, pulli, you might not know what it means. It actually is a pullover or a sweater, but it ends with an I, right? And if you look back up at your notes, okay, words that end in I are masculine, or at least most of them, and this one is. I have a little rhyme for that too. If it ends with an I, it's probably a guy. All right. We have der Onkel, also referring to a person, and then Frau. Frau means woman. So we're going to go with a feminine definite article, die. Wunderbar. All right. The last little thing is here, I have sentences with the definite article missing. So I would like you to finish the sentence selecting the correct definite article. So if I want to say, hey, what is the brother's name? I would say, wie heißt der Bruder? Bruder means brother. That's a boy. So I'm going to use the masculine definite article. Go through down and fill in the blanks and come back and check your work. Gehen wir die Antworten. Okay? It's also really important to better your fluency and your pronunciation by repeating the sentence after me. You're going to be seeing it on the screen. You're going to hear it, and we're going to reinforce the meaning. You're going to get lots of input, more comprehensible input, and you're going to be a better German student. Okay? Here we go. Die Mutter wohnt die Ecke. You try it. Die Mutter wohnt die Ecke. Mutter is feminine because it's a female, and Ecke is feminine, ends with an E, give it a D. Yeah? Die Tante geht in die Schule. Die Tante geht in die Schule. Okay, again, Tante is the word for aunt, is another feminine. Schule ends with an E, give it a D. Next one. Der Sohn heißt Helmut. Der Sohn heißt Helmut. The son's name is Helmut, okay? Sohn refers to a son, also a boy. We're going to give it the masculine definite article, der, okay? Woher kommt der Großvater und die Großmutter? You try it. Woher kommt der Großvater und die Großmutter? Again, Großvater, grandfather, Großmutter, grandmother, both referring to people. We're going to give them their respective definite articles that apply to their gender. Okay? Das Mädchen wohnt in Berlin. You try it. Das Mädchen wohnt in Berlin. Okay? Mädchen, it's a girl, but it ends in chen, and any word that ends in chen has to be neuter. Okay? The girl, wohnt means lives in Berlin. The girl lives in Berlin. Nummer 7. Der Busfahrer ist 60 Jahre alt. Der Busfahrer ist 60 Jahre alt. So here we have a noun that ends in er, and if you look up at our clues up here, words that end in er tend to be masculine. And the other thing is a Busfahrer is a bus driver. Fahrer means driver, so it's also a masculine noun because it's a person. Hast du die Zeitung? Hast du die Zeitung? Zeitung is actually the word for newspaper in German, but it ends in ung, okay? Words that end in ung, U-N-G, are usually feminine nouns. Wie heißt die Tochter? You try it. Wie heißt die Tochter? Tochter is the word for daughter in German, feminine noun because it refers to a person. And the last one, die Großeltern kommen aus Österreich. Die Großeltern kommen aus Österreich. Okay, Großeltern is the word for grandparents, and because it's a plural noun, we give it the plural definite article D. All right, guys, super Arbeit. Bis gleich.